over 130 people signed a petition to stop this development. They went to the Sun, the Daily Mail and the local news, and the best thing about it, they won. We're back at Archers. This is the flagship development. Now, to understand how we ended up in this situation, we need to rewind all the way back to the beginning of this development. Start with, we've got neighbours either side. It's a terraced house and party wall agreements was the first issue on this development. We had disagreements with one neighbour downstairs and the whole violent situation came out. Now, the main issue with what we've done here is we have then started the works, which is completely normal in any situation. However, the situation with the neighbours deteriorated day by day by day. This has then caused outrage in the community, backlash from the news, the Sun, the Daily Mail and the local news, timing perfectly with my appearance on Channel 4 Handcuffed. The perfect shitstorm. We submitted an application to do a rear extension which was approved under prior approval. We then put in the application for a change of use from 6 to 8 person HMO. 2 additional persons, and that's what we went to planning committee for on the 25th of April. This date for the planning committee was then published by the Sun, the Daily Mail and the local paper, and I have never seen a response or a turnout like it at a planning committee. Over 130 people came together to fight my HMO, and you know what? They won. The date rolls round. It's the 25th of April and we're going to our planning committee. Normally at these committee meetings there are several applications to discuss. Not at this one. The only reason everyone came out on that Wednesday evening was for 41 Archers Road. Everybody who wanted to say something did. They had over 30 minutes of providing why they did not want this HMO coming to the area. The case officer told us that she was going to put it forward for refusal, even though she had said that she would normally approve it, but because of the incidents with the neighbours and the press, they cannot approve it. Now this is factually wrong because they failed it on parking and over intensification. Parking, we can provide parking on the rear of our property, and also highways had no objections to this development. We meet all of the Eastleigh Local Council amenity standards, so this whole development passes policy. If we take this to appeal, let me be very clear, it will be overturned because of we pass the policy requirements. That was their grounds for refusal. However, will we take it to appeal? Right now at this stage, I don't know. The bias in the room for refusal with the local elections and the amount of people in the room would have caused uproar. So I completely understand why they've refused it. However, this is emotion-led and not policy, which is why I'm so confident in our appeal process. The neighbours are cheering, the application's refused, I should be financially crippled, shouldn't I? You're wrong. And that is down to the deal strategy and how we structure these deals. I immediately knew it was risky we're going for the 8-bed after what was going on. So we held off building the rear extension. The rear extension will increase our communal area and will also give us that additional 8th bedroom on the back of the development. With the internal floor area we have 7 bedrooms already. We only have permission for 6 and we only have a license for 6 though. We then didn't have to lay out an additional £40,000 doing the rear extension to get these extra 2 rooms or 1 room. When doing these deals, they are risky. You must always have a likely case, best case and a worst case. With property, it's risky, and you know I always talk about risk mitigation. So what's the goal moving forward with Archers? Refinance, rent as a 6-bed and crack the back on with my other deals that already have the planning permission. We're not done with this development. We've still got a few more videos left in this series, finishing these projects, tenanting them, the refinance process, everything you need to go from start to finish developing HMOs. Now let's get a quick tour around and see exactly where we are. So we're 4 weeks away from finishing. Let's take a look exactly where we are. Second fix, all electrics is all going on, mist coated everywhere. Second fix, all joinery into the bathrooms. These en-suites are looking tip top. Massive shower in this Grand Master Suite. This room, I really hope we get what we want in terms of rent. Now through into the kitchenette tea station. These all came from Capco, a online kitchen company. We didn't use Howdens. Overall, impressed with the quality. Will we use them again? I think so. All comes down to pricing though at the end of the day. However, these units all are constructed with proper 18mm backboards, which means that the longevity of these units is gonna stand the test of time. Why do we put T-stations in? More money! Because we've got to think about the end user. People are unsociable these days in HMOs. If someone can live, basically have this almost as a studio flat, you know that these rooms are going to rent for longer and more, and we will have less void periods, which is everything in terms of monthly cash flow. This T-station probably cost about £1,000 overall, but will generate us an extra £100 a month. It will also reduce our void periods, so that not only did we get 1,200 quid a year extra, our tenant turnover is less because of things like this in your room. So into the back room. This is another one of the best rooms in the house. Top floor. T-station going there, not as quite as big as this one, but then also into this nice ensuite, which is one of the biggest bathrooms in the house as well, 3 square meters. Why do we use Aqua panels in our HMOs? Because they look the bollocks. They're maintenance free, they're quicker to install, and they are cheaper. Let me know in the comments, do you prefer tiles or do you Aqua panels in your developments and in your HMOs? Because we've got so many projects going on the go, where all of the funds get a little bit blurred. Now, what I am doing right now is onboarding the Bookkeeper to then go over and audit all of our weekly expenditure and put it project per project, rather than me having to do it once a month and it being 5 hours worth of trawling through invoices and allocating it project per project. Easy to do when you've got one project, but when you've got multiple and we're doing potentially 50 grand a month in terms of refurbishment works and labour, your bank balance, you've got a lot of cash flow. And it can get a little bit stressful. This room again, another 850, I think. When looking around this project, is there anything I would have done differently? I don't know, the bathrooms are a bit small. The thing is, we haven't gone for quadrant showers, so the shower is bigger, but it encroaches on the room a little bit more. Now, that's often it's a trade-off, isn't it, between what looks good and actual functionality, because a 700 quadrant, 800 quadrant isn't very good. We've gone for a 700 by 800 shower. It's come out into the room a little bit more, but it means that the shower is a lot more usable. Builders merchants projects like this are absolutely essential, and having good relationships with one key person behind the desk who's going to do all your discounting is absolutely critical. I've got a great person at Travis Perkins who looks after us on almost all material. So cylinders are in. These cylinders are for our en-suites. This is a hot water cylinder that is going to be powered off an accumulator tank. This is so that we can have 6 to 8 showers all running at once and still have optimal water pressure, so that no one isn't able to take a shower at the same time. This costs quite a bit of money, but you've got to make sure that your HMOs function correctly. So through into the kitchen, and now we've got all of the units in place, it's actually feeling quite small. What I'm proposing we do is knock out the utility room wall and make it all open, because this will actually open up the space a lot more. Will it give us more internal floor area? No. Will it feel more open, airy? Yes. And when renting these properties, it all comes down to the feel. This is something that we thought was good on paper, but actually in terms of functionality when we've done it, has not delivered how we expected. Overall thoughts? Can't wait to finish. I want this finished and pay me money. So this room's the worst room in the house. This is the one that we don't have planning permission for. This is coming in about 8 square meters. Not great, but currently won't be used as a bedroom as we don't have the planning permission, so it'll be locked off and kept for a later date. Yeah, garden, we're gonna just probably go out 3 fence panels and panel off. No, I get that. Maybe we were overcomplicating the transaction, that's fine.
Another check on that person.
No, there would just be me and Joel, that'll be it.
Great, so congratulations.
Perfect.
I am delighted for you, actually. I think that will end up being a decent deal for you, and frankly, it's a decent deal for my seller. So
good, yeah, I'm very happy. Cheers for negotiating that. We appreciate it. We've got the other 10 bed, subject to planning on the go as well. So no, but yeah. So there we have it, another offer accepted on a 10-bed scheme. We'll be documenting the full journey on that. That's completely detached property, so we're not gonna have any party wall agreements. And we'll be collaborating with another absolutely killer in the HMO space. So like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next video. Hey.